We entered the 2024 season in a way we haven't this century, as with not a single active player being a member of the 500 home run club. In fact, Giancarlo Stanton is the only one with 400. So with the lack of milestones, let's look at what current players are already Hall of Famers or are well on their way.
Totally sports-esque. Major League.
Right now, I feel there are 4 current players who, if they retired right now, would be first ballot Hall of Famers, with 3 of those being pitchers. Those pitchers are Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, and Clayton Kershaw. And if we use Baseball Reference's Hall of Fame monitor, they seem to agree, as they are not only the top 3 in pitchers not eligible yet, but also top 3 in all current players. They have all won 3 Cy Youngs, and every pitcher who has won 3 Cy Youngs has made the Hall of Fame in their first ballot, except Roger Clemens. And the one position player I think is already a first ballot lock is Mike Trout. While he doesn't have the typical Hall of Fame milestones like 2,000 hits or 400 home runs, he's won 3 MVPs and made the All-Star team 11 times. And every player that's won 3 MVPs has made the Hall of Fame, except Barry Bonds and Alex Rodriguez. Roy Campanella made it on his 7th ballot, in part due to the accident that ended his career early. And Albert Pujols is going to make it, hopefully unanimous, soon. Those are the current players whose career could end right now, and there'd be no debate for their first ballot induction. I think there's 2 that could make it first ballot, but might need a couple tries. The first is Zack Greinke. He ranks 5th on Baseball Reference's Hall of Fame monitor amongst pitchers not eligible yet, and isn't too far behind someone many think will get in the first ballot next year, CC Sabathia. Greinke is still a free agent at the age of 40, and 1 year could do a lot for him as he nears 3,000 strikeouts, though he hopes it doesn't end up like Adam Wainwright waiting months for his 200th win. Greinke's strength is his longevity, which voters seem to reward, and he has a Cy Young, has led the league in ERA twice, and has a higher career WAR than Max Scherzer, which ranks him 3rd amongst current pitchers. He wasn't as dominant as the other current pitchers mentioned, but being effective for so long makes it easy to believe he'll be in first or second year, and he'll be there to give the greatest speech ever.
Thank you.
The other who is right on the edge is Joey Votto. Just like Greinke, he is still a free agent, and is a name that will be very debatable when he's eligible. He's just above 2,000 hits, doesn't have 400 home runs, and is just over 1,100 RBIs. But he has an average close to 300 in a time of low averages. He's led the league in on-base percentage 7 times, has a WAR better than recent inductee Todd Helton, and has an MVP, and was well on his way for another in 2012 before injury. He may not get in first ballot, but a player like Todd Helton really helps his case for getting in within his first few ballots. Then past those 6, I would say there's 8 position players who, if they retired right now, you can make a great case for them, and they may very well make it within their first 10 ballots or make it through the Veterans Committee, their biggest argument against them being that they need a few more years. The first is Shohei Ohtani. I made an entire video about his case a long time ago, where I go more in depth, and the simple argument is when you skim through all he's done as a hitter, you also have to bring up that he pitched at an all-star level during it. He's the most impactful player of his generation, and he may have the best peak in MLB history given that he's going both ways. I think the only debate is if he would make it on the first ballot. Then of the other 8, the 4 I think with the best case are Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Paul Goldschmidt, and Jose Altuve. The worst modern player inducted into Hall of Fame in my opinion is Harold Baines, who was elected by the Veterans Committee. And if you look at a comparison of all these players, Baines has played 1,000 more games than every player except Freeman. And those 4 have a better WAR, average, on-base percentage, OPS, and OPS+. They have all made the All-Star team more times, and all have won a number of more Silver Sluggers, with each having a Gold Glove. And you can add in the fact that they all have MVPs. Freeman's was in a 60-game season, but going back to Votto, if he makes it, I think Goldschmidt and Freeman are already in, especially once Goldschmidt gets 2,000 hits, probably this year. It will be interesting what voters will do involving Altuve in the scandal, though he didn't take part in it. Regardless, it's hard to deny him just based on his postseason resume alone. Mookie is an interesting one in the fact that he's played a considerable amount of less games than the others. The Hall of Famer with the least amount of games played who debuted past 1980 is Kirby Puckett. Mookie is ahead of him in a number of categories and matches him in Gold Gloves and Silver Sluggers, so it's clear that if Mookie even has a few average years, he's in. The last 3 of those 8 are Bryce Harper, Nolan Arenado, and Manny Machado. Arenado and Machado's main argument is their defense that is often forgotten in comparing top players. These 2 are in the top 5 defensive third basemen of all time, and Arenado is arguably at the top. And while players such as Ozzie Smith are mainly in the Hall for their defense, these guys have also done well at the plate. And with the recent inductions of Larry Walker and Todd Helton, it helps someone like Arenado get over the Coors Field stigma. And the case with Harper at this point is interesting. His .912 OPS is 2nd among current players with at least 6,000 plate appearances, only behind Joey Votto. He's top 10 in active career offensive WAR, but isn't in the top 100 of career defensive WAR. His biggest accolades lie in his 2 MVPs and 3 Silver Sluggers, along with a strong postseason resume despite not winning it all yet. As is the case with the entire 8, Harper needs a few more average years to supplement his case. And considering he's the same age as Mookie Betts, it's easy to say he has years left. I ultimately think all 8 of these position players get in, considering they all have years left, and all that will do is make their cases stronger. And now let's look at a few pitchers in the same boat. Outside of the 4 pitchers already talked about, the one with the best Hall of Fame resume just based on what they've already accomplished is Gerrit Cole. Just like comparing players to Harold Baines, the modern Hall of Fame pitcher who I feel is the worst is Jack Morris, whose playoff performances were the biggest factor. And comparing these two, the biggest difference is Morris pitching almost 2,000 more innings, but Cole has clearly been more dominant in his 300 starts. And the Cy Young he won last year was massive for his candidacy. Considering that Cole would have the least amount of innings for a starter in the Hall, he obviously just needs more innings and is well on his way to being first ballot. But what he has most going for him is that he's remained very healthy for a modern starting pitcher with high velocity. And those injuries have hurt a pitcher like Chris Sale. In listing players who are well on their way to the Hall, a few years ago, Sale and Corey Kluber were one of those, but injuries and a drop in performance have really hurt them. If Sale can regain himself, that would be huge for his case and the Braves. And as for Corey Kluber, he retires with a poor chance to make it, which you wouldn't expect after 2017. And that brings up an interesting case for 2 other pitchers, with Jacob deGrom and Blake Snell. Like I said earlier, every pitcher with 3 Cy Youngs has made the Hall of Fame on their first ballot. If deGrom gets another one, he's a shoo-in based on the fact that he's the most dominant starting pitcher of his generation and single-handedly led the Rangers to the World Series, just like Ronald Acuna Jr. did in 2021. However, if Blake Snell wins another one, then he may not be a lock, considering his consistency issues, which has also delayed his free agency negotiations. But if he continues the pace of a Cy Young year every 5 seasons with average years in the middle, then he may be the first 3-time Cy Young winner to not make it first ballot, especially if Kevin Cash becomes a voter. And there's 2 relievers who I feel are right there as well, Craig Kimbrell and Kenley Jansen. Both look like they were well on their way before 2019, but some recent struggles have added questions. I recently made a video about Billy Wagner's career, and I really thought he should have made the Hall of Fame this year, but in his last year of eligibility, I have to imagine he has a very good chance to get in next year. Though Wagner has a clear advantage in innings pitched, these 3 have very similar stats as strikeout pitchers, and Wagner was one of the first 1-inning dominant closers who helped pave the way for guys like Kimbrell and Jansen, and could do the same in his Hall of Fame case. And past all of the players we discussed, there's a ton that are also very well on their way, as they are in the midst of their peak, or have got off to an incredible start in their young career. One of those is the current home run leader, Giancarlo Stanton. For some reason, it's kind of surprising that he's now the leader, and that mainly stems from the fact that he's been injured a little bit during his time with the Yankees. But if Stanton is able to reach 500 home runs, then he should get in, considering every member of the 500 home run club who didn't take steroids is in. And past Stanton, position players like Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez, Aaron Judge, and Alex Bregman are all guys in their 30s who can make it to Cooperstown if they continue to put up what they've been averaging. And pitchers like Corbin Burns, Zach Wheeler, and Aaron Nola are right there with them, along with a reliever like Josh Hader. Then there's the guys who are so young that you can't tell, but are well on track. Juan Soto and Ronald Acuna Jr. are both under 27 years old, and are the most likely in their age group to make it first ballot if they continue what they've been doing. And there's other young guys like Yordan Alvarez, Rafael Devers, Julio Rodriguez, Spencer Strider, Bobby Witt Jr., and both of the Rookies of the Year in 2023. You can list a million of these players, considering you never know where they will go, and if the bar for the Hall of Fame lowers, then it will only help their case. So going into this 2024 season, there are 4 players who I feel are first ballot locks, while a number of players are already late ballot Hall of Famers, and maybe a few good years for making it on the first or second ballot. Anything can happen to these players in the future, and as long as they don't get ringworm or accidentally place a few thousand bets on DraftKings, they have a chance to join the likes of Candy Cummings and Old Oz Radburn in Cooperstown.